سلام بچه‌ها، با یه ویدیوی خفن دیگه از 504 لغات ضروری انگلیسی در خدمتتون هستم. ساب یادتون نره، زنگوله رو بزنید، لایک هم کنید، کامنت هم یادتون نره، چنلمو به دوستاتون معرفی کنید. بزنیم که بریم برای درس سوم. Let's go.
Typical. Typical. Typical.
I think it's typical.
Typical how?
Janie's a pretty typical teenager. Angry, insecure, confused.
This was typical of Mikey Forrester.
As such, his illness may have gone untreated far longer than is typical.
Why'd you stop?
Typical shit.
Minimum. Minimum.
Norton failed to mention to the press that bare minimum of expense is a fairly loose term.
You now have 14 minutes to reach minimum safe distance. You now have 15 minutes to reach minimum safe distance.
$100 minimum straight poker.
Scarce. 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 Scarce.
Was scarce, and Sonia learned to make wonderful dishes out of snow.
Even though gentlemen were scarce and there was more than one young lady sitting down without a partner.
The crows and chuffs that wing the midway air, so scarce, so gross, as beakless.
Food is scarce over there and things have started to fall apart there.
Say, boys, you wouldn't mind making yourself scarce for a couple of hours this afternoon, would you?
Annual. Annual. Annual.
Appropriations Committee voted an annual payment of $500 just to shut him up.
From which you will pay the king an annual duty.
We were just looking in your old annual. Leader of the school annual, Cambridge bound.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to announce the winners of the Los Angeles City Schools annual art competition.
Persuade. 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 Persuade.
What if I say no?
I'll persuade you.
Well, my paper just sent me out here to try to persuade you to go on the record.
How did you persuade him to keep your secret?
Is that the one in which you persuade the general to guard your stolen property?
In the meantime, I'll try to persuade the president to cancel all public appearances.
Essential. Essential. Essential.
They're scale munitions workers, they're essential.
Not essential. I think you misunderstand the meaning of the word.
These infinity stones each control an essential aspect of existence.
I mean, that is the essential nature of war.
This strikes me as an essential story to a local paper.
Blend. 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 Blend.
That's you trying to blend in with the hive. That's the costume Superman wears to blend in with us.
You can't blend in when you were born to stand out.
Try to blend in.
The light concealing cream goes on first. Then you blend and blend and blend.
Visible. 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 Visible.
Visible activity. All right, hold it 40.
Must make the injustice visible.
But the moment they are dismissed from drill, every tongue is relaxed and every ivory tooth is visible.
If it is not visible on the body, it will be beneath the hair.
I drive a Range Rover, so I always feel safer when it's visible.
Expensive. Expensive. Expensive.
Expensive habit, I know.
We sat down there on company orders to get this thing, which destroyed my crew. And your expensive ship.
$100 suit, expensive luggage.
Too expensive for the army?
They're expensive, but you can afford.
Talent. 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 Talent.
Had to prove to a lot of people that he could be counted on, whether that be the office or whether that be the talent.
I think you have a talent for survival.
He's taken that talent and turned it into writing, but I mean, he did start his career as a stand-up comedian.
But he is attempting to use that very talent against your will. Your son has a very great talent.
Device. 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 Device.
I'll devise brave punishments for him.
Really, I'll devise some honest slanders to stain my cousin with.
The rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
They would devise all those schemes, stratagems, and policy that the art and cunning of man can invent to thwart and retard it.
Perhaps together we can devise a way of surviving past what they have planned for.
Wholesale. 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 Wholesale.